Welcome to another unboxing video from theplayersaid.com. My name's Alexander, and today we're taking a crack at Cataclysm, Second World War. This is from GMT Games, and this one is designed by, and I will butcher this so I apologize, William Tedeslavich and Scott Muldoon. This is a nice, it's a 2-inch box, very nice. This is one of the very thick, sturdy 2-inch boxes. If you can see here, it's kind of a big strategic level game. You actually get a European Theatre of Operations map, and you get a separate Pacific Theatre of Operations map. You can play this solitaire very easily, and the game's apparently not super duper complex. So this game, it starts in the 1930s, and you get a lot of the build up towards war, a lot of the economics and politics in the game. It's not just, here's another World War II game. So, let's get it open. That's quite tight on there. Okay. We have, well, to start with, a crisis table. So that's good. Okay, well, alright, so it's back of the playbook, and we've got rulebook. Okay, so rulebook. You got matte paper. Big rulebook. This is a whopping 39 pages of rules with a peacetime crisis event. This is a wartime crisis event. Okay, well, there you go. So crises probably before the outbreak of war. Yeah, so you got League of Nations conference, low countries declare neutrality. This is a lot of pre-war stuff that could go off. So the rules, this is very typical GMT. It looks like you got a decent sized font. So it might look a lot, but this is actually a bigger font than things like Empire of the Sun, so maybe the rules aren't quite as dense. It looks like it's very readable. And they've started doing this, I actually noticed this when we played Hitler's Reich the other day. They've got really important rules in this red box. So it's really nice and easy to see those. But those are very important things that stand out. Good rules, hoping that that's nice and clear to kind of digest. 40 pages is a lot, but it is what it is. What's nice is you get the playbook. I'm assuming in here, How to Survive Cataclysm, comprehensive example of play, and the next thing is 17. So it looks like you've got 12 pages example of play. Thank you very much. We're going to dive right into that. What's nice about this game is there's a lot of different scenarios. You can play with just one of those theaters, you can play with both, you can play the whole war, you can play a shortened version of the war, you start halfway through, you can do just... There's a lot of stuff that you can do, which I think is very nice. A game that you can tailor to what you need it to be. Let's just look one more time at those wartime events. Crisis of Confidence, you got labor strikes. France has a counter in reserve, you return it to its force pool. Chinese resistance, civil war, colonial revolt. Lots of interesting things that can happen. So that's nice. Okay. Big playbook. So that's nice. Okay. So how to survive. So this is an article introducing the concepts of Cataclysm. This is going to give you an overview of the things that you're trying to do, what the game is trying to model. So definitely be given that a read. Because a game that's kind of very different to the style that I might be used to playing. I like to know, hey, this is what you should try to do. If they give you a set of victory conditions, you're like, okay, well, how do I meet those? Especially when it's new. So that's going to be nice that we can kind of figure that out. Example of play here. So, like I said, example of play, 1937, 1938. So we're going to do a whole year. Very good detail. Nice that they put the flags to say, this person's doing this, this nation's doing that, this nation's doing this. I really appreciate that. That makes that very easy to read and follow. Nice good pictures, 1939 to 1940. Wow, do they do like... Looks like they got a lot of stuff in here. Looks like they cover at least 2 full years in there, so that's quite nice. And then we've got the scenarios here. Nice artwork. Always like historical pictures. You'll always get me to be a fan of that. Looks like this is the big main one. Was that? Nice. We got some rules for play by email. So if you want to do PBAM, you can do that. That's nice. To Decision days. This is now for 2 players, presenting the final run-up to the war in the late 30s. So this is like this is just pre-war. This big one, you can actually play with 5 players. It looks like it's France, Italy, Soviet Union, United Kingdom, United States, Japan, fascist Germany. So who does what? If you had 5 players, I'm not sure. I don't know how you divvy that up. There's a lot of different things that you could do there. So I'm sure there's rules about how you divvy that up, but I don't know for sure. But you can play this solo if you want to. Apparently it plays well solo. There's not a lot of hidden information, so to speak. But you can play 2 players. You can play up to 5 players. I think you can. Looks like that's just the Great Patriotic War. Looks like that's just East Front. Just Pacific. Just European Theatre. Just Pacific Theatre. 1939 onwards, yep. 1937 to 1942, so that's pretty much early war. Yeah, that's about it. Here's one of the coolest parts, and I had no idea about this until the game came out. I just don't know. I think we were told, but we missed the email. This is actually the full interview that Grant did with the designers of the game, Scott and Bill. So this is actually posted on our website, thePlayersaid.com, but they reprinted it in the manual so that you can kind of see why they designed the things they did, where their inspiration came from, what they were trying to do with the game, and like 5 pages of the interview, so that's really cool. That was a nice nod, because Grant puts a lot of effort into those, but there's a ton of good information that they gave that you wouldn't see in other games. So that's nice, appreciate that. And then this is, hey, read this. This is strategies, things that you need to try and do. Here's things in common, which I'm sure have good economic base. And then it's, as Germany, what do you do? As Italy, what do you do? As Japan, what do you do? That's really, really nice. I appreciate that. And then there's a huge bibliography, ton of books for you to read. So if you want to go ahead and do that, you can do that. Ton of stuff in here, and big glossary, so you can quickly look up rules or look up where they go. So I know we spent a lot of time in that playbook, but it's a really good resource. There are times where I'll get a game and I'm struggling through it, and this happened when we played Pericles. We struggled through learning and playing it, and then Mark Herman was like, "Well, did you play through the playbook?" And we were like, "No," and he basically slapped us on the wrist and was like, "Do that. That's how you learn the game. Is do the playbook, because it's broken up into chunks. It's there for a reason. This is here for a reason. So read it." These kind of first components out of the box, these are kind of the nation cards, and there's some play aids as well. So each nation has a card where it'll have their markers, production holding box. These are the available forces that you've got, and then you've got some different kind of charts for effectiveness and different bits and pieces of rules there. Each nation has one of those, and then you've got some little special rules about provocation and commitment, things like that as well. So you've got one of those for each of the countries, or nations I suppose you would call them. So that's nice. These are kind of thick cardstock on the back. You've got history, which is really cool. And each one of those, ton of history. Love it, love it, love it. Can't get enough of that. These are kind of examples of play for strategic bombing and air ops, invasion operation example. Doing an invasion is you got a few more extra steps, and you want to see it. You've got a quick example, and base capture naval ops as well. And then on these sides, you've got special rules, democratic special rules. So these are like when you start doing A-bomb research and bits and pieces. If you've got Lend-Lease, here's what that looks like. You've got that for Axis powers here, or fascist powers, communist powers. You have all that, so that's nice. Nice. I'll take any play aids I can get. Okay, what else do we have here? So here's the first map. And this is a paper map. But it is a beautiful paper map. So this is a strategic level, so it's just, basically it's countries or small regions within the countries, and that's how you're going to track everything. This is just one of the maps. So you do need some table space if you want to play the full game, because the other one here, I think that's... So you've got 2 full maps, which this is basically, when you put these together, this is the size of a normal map. But you figure you've got all of these as well. You need some space. Okay, but the maps are gorgeous. I really like this cool style that they've gone for. The kind of the names of the countries, the font they've used is very bold. This is quite an iconic looking game. There is going to be, I don't know if they're on P500 right now, but there either is or there's going to very shortly mounted maps that you can buy separately. You're going to need a whole another box because both of these are going to take up most of the size of this box. But it looks like there's space in here where you could remove this insert and stick them in there. So counter sheets we've got. So here's kind of the forces that are available. And again, at a strategic level, nothing's got attack values, but you've got, here's your infantry, here's your tanks, here's your fleets, you've got subs, airplanes, and then you've got supply barrels, bits and pieces like that. Got Italian forces down here, it looks like, French forces, German forces, and you got a few markers down here as well, and those are all double-sided, so that's nice. On here you've got British forces, Japanese forces, and you've got communist forces, and it looks like you've got a lot of naval type markers. Not entirely sure if those are kind of dark markers, I'm not sure. So these are good. Looks like these are kind of almost falling out. These are punched very well. Ooh, making a big mess. These are small counters, but they're the nice thick grey cardboard ones as well. So yeah, they're quite sturdy. Get what you pay for. Got a record display track here. So it's got victory points, turn track, other bits and pieces that you're going to track with a political display and how the dynamics of all that are going to work. And that crisis table that we saw on the back of the playbook, you've got a card for that, and the peacetime one, so you don't have to use the ones on the back of the rules, but if you happen to be flipping through those, that's right there. And there's 3 of these, so if you're playing with 5 players, you have to share them, but I don't know if you're ever going to be playing with 5 players, let's be honest. Unless you're the big con. This is a bifold, lots of stuff here. So you've got sequence of play for administration phase, then an action phase, then the end phase. But then it's rules about stability, interests, all the different bits and pieces here, military actions, combat resolution, what that looks like. If countries collapse or nations surrender, Chinese Civil War, so there's a lot of stuff going on there. It looks like political movement, provocation, occupation limits. And you've got 3 of those identically, so everyone can have their own reference. Always appreciate that. And then we have cubes. Lots and lots of wooden colored cubes. Very brightly colored ones. That looks beautiful. And then an absolute ton. It's like you've got 9d6 in here. So lots of different dice to be rolling. You're going to be rolling dice. And that's it. You've got an insert in here. We're probably going to remove that for a counter tray or 2. If we get the mounted boards, we're going to need that space as well. But that's it. That's everything in Cataclysm. It's a small box, but this game is big. It's strategic level, so you kind of get... It's a different type of game. You know, I'm taking over a country here or a region there. So it's a different feel from something like Unconditional Surrender, for example, where it is hexes and counters and you're moving along. This is a bigger, broader, wider look, but you still get a lot of that politics, and the economy is a big part of this, I know. You have making your forces, building your forces, and being able to keep that up. So that's Cataclysm. This one we're going to play here as soon as we can, frankly. I'm very excited for it. It looks awesome. Watch out for a review for that coming soon, and we've been theplayers8.com.